Hola amigos, ¿qué tal? Stuart here from Spain Speaks with an update video today. We'll have a bit of a chat about what happened in yesterday's general elections in Spain, so stay tuned for that. Talk about the elections today and not much else, so if you're not interested, you can turn off now. Now I'll get the weather out of the way first. Here in Portugal, as you can see, or this part of Portugal at least, overcast again, an overcast morning, heading for a top today of around 21-22 degrees Celsius, which is fairly normal for this part of the world. Now, as I said, today's chat is going to be mainly focused on yesterday's elections. Fairly even result at the end of the day, but there were some winners and there were some big losers. So that's what we'll talk about now. Now, as I said a minute or so ago, some winners and some losers out of yesterday's elections. Firstly, we'll get some of the data out of the way, some of the numbers out of the way. So there was a 70% turnout, which I don't think is all that bad considering that it was the 23rd of July. Lots of people away on holiday. So people took time out to vote. People took time out to get a postal vote, get that in, and also people apparently came back from their holidays specifically to vote. Now, let's get into the main results. Well, the most voted party was the PP. They ended up with 136 seats in the new parliament, up from 89 in the last elections. The PSOE party, led by Mr. Handsome Pedro Sanchez, 122 seats in the parliament, up from 120. Not many people thought that that was going to happen. People thought that the PSOE were going to lose seats, but that didn't happen. Vox was the biggest loser from yesterday. They were down from 52 in 2019 to 33, so 33 seats in the parliament. So Vox's vote down. So much for the rise of the far right. And the new political party, Sumar, led by Yolanda Díaz, managed to get 31 seats in yesterday's elections. So those are the main results. Now you would think that the Partido Popular, given the fact that they are the most voted for party in Spain, would be leading the country for the next 4 years. Well, that is not going to be the case because they haven't got an absolute majority. 176 seats is needed for an absolute majority, and the Partido Popular and the PSOE party way off that absolute majority. You would also think that the PP would be able to co-govern with a party like Vox and some other parties there as well, but apparently it's not going to be that easy either because a lot of deals, a lot of agreements have to be made over the next few days. Mr. Feijóo, the leader of that party, is going to try. He's going to try and get a government together, but as I said, it's not going to be easy. The PSOE will also try to put a government together, looking to form a coalition with some of their partners, people that they have worked with in the past, some of these independence parties, and of course with Sumar, but I don't think that's going to be possible either. The irony here is that Catalonia holds all the keys, and specifically one person in Catalonia, Carles Puigdemont, who for the last 4 or 5 years has been a fugitive from Spanish justice living in Belgium, because if he comes back to Spain, he would be arrested. And as I said, ironically, he holds the key, because it's going to be the 7 or 8 seats that his party got in yesterday's elections that are going to be the key as to who governs in Spain for the next 4 years. And if they can't reach an agreement with Mr. Puigdemont, there's going to be new elections down the track, probably in around 6 months' time, or at least before the end of the year, I imagine. Not sure about that, but I think they have 6 months roughly to make new elections happen. So isn't it ironic that somebody who's currently a fugitive from Spanish justice holds the key to the next government? Don't you think? So let's now talk about some of the winners and some of the losers from yesterday's elections. Well, I think Pedro Sanchez, the current Prime Minister, or the Prime Minister for the last 4 years, is a big winner. People thought that he was dead in the water after those May elections, but, and as I mentioned the other day, he has pulled a rabbit out of his hat and lives to fight another day and might even be Prime Minister for the next 4 years if he can get some of those groups together and come to an agreement. Time will tell, maybe today, maybe tomorrow, maybe sometime this week, we will know. I think another winner was Mr. Feijóo, because he obviously got a lot more seats in the parliament than last time, mainly because the Citizens Party has disappeared, and also he would have taken some of the vote away from Vox. I'll talk about them in just a moment. But Mr. Feijóo, I think, is another winner because, as I mentioned previously, his party up from 89 seats in the last elections to 136 in yesterday's election. So we'll consider Mr. Feijóo a winner also. Now, time for the losers. And I think the big loser here is Santiago Abascal and his Vox party. Down, down, down. Spaniards the other day, as I mentioned, are not stupid when it comes to voting. They know what they want. And Vox this time around was not something that the general Spaniard wanted. And as I said, they are way down from 2019 election results. What's gone wrong with Vox? Well, I think that their message just doesn't get through to the majority of Spaniards. They have a very small core group of supporters. Sometimes they'll go up, sometimes they'll go down, perhaps of a protest vote. But yesterday there wasn't a protest vote, and Vox at a national level didn't do very well. They did well in the previous elections a couple of months ago because people trust them at that level, obviously, but they don't trust them at a national level where they can have an influence on Spanish politics. So interesting there to see that Vox was a loser. Yolanda Díaz, I think we could also consider to be a bit of a loser out of yesterday's elections. I think they were expecting more. She saw herself as the next president of the government in Spain, or the next Spanish Prime Minister, but that's not going to happen. And they only just got over 30 seats in the parliament. And I don't think they did much better than Podemos a few years ago. So a bit of a disappointment, Sumar, in my opinion. But the biggest winner from yesterday's elections, in my opinion, is the autonomous community of Catalonia, and also Catalan separatist politician Carles Puigdemont, who, as I said, holds the key to the next government here in Spain. His votes are crucial for either of the two big parties to be able to govern. I don't think he's going to give his votes to the PP. He might give his votes to the PSOE, but he also said yesterday that his votes are not going to come cheap. He's going to ask for a lot in return for those votes. So we'll see what happens there as far as Catalonia is concerned. Maybe he will ask for a referendum, a new referendum, maybe a legal referendum this time around, so that Catalans can decide whether or not they want to separate from Spain. I think that is going to be on the table. Is that a realistic possibility? I've got no idea, but given Pedro Sanchez's form over the last 4 years or so, anything is possible. So we'll keep an eye on that. We'll see how that one develops. But there is the other possibility, of course, that Spain goes back to the polls sometime over the next 6 months. So we'll keep an eye on that one too. But it's going to be an interesting week as far as politics is concerned in Spain, and as far as a new government is concerned in Spain. So the basic summary that I take out of this is that Spain politically is a basket case. The two big parties can't govern on their own. They need to depend on these smaller parties, and that makes things very, very complicated indeed. Very fragmented is Spanish politics at the moment, and it's been like that since 2015, so no changes there. Is it going to change in the future? Is it going to go back to a two-party dominated system? I've got no idea. Time will tell. On that note, I'll wrap the video up. Questions and comments, please leave them in the section below. If you have an opinion on what happened yesterday, if you have an opinion on who the winners and losers are from yesterday's elections, please let me know in that comment section below. If you have an opinion on what the future of the political party Vox is, or any of the other political parties in Spain is, please, in that comment section below, you can leave your opinion. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it, thumbs down if you didn't. I'll see you in the next one. Hasta luego.